Hi, my name is Yuwen, and today I will be discussing the TED Talk on the mysterious working of the adolescent brain. Why do teenagers seem much more impulsive, so much so much less self-aware than grown-ups? In a TED Talk, The Mysterious Workings of the Adolescent Brain, neuroscientist Sarah Blakemore discussed the way in which the adolescent brain is different from the adult brain. She shows us how typical teenage behaviors are caused by the growing and developing brain through various studies such as MRI and fMRI scans. She also explained how adolescence is a period where the brain is still malleable and adaptable, which is a perfect place for learning and creativity. And she also shows how changes in the brain provide an excellent opportunity for education and social development. The first question states, what are some of the main talking points that the speaker makes? One major point that the speaker makes is that the adolescent brain is still developing from early puberty into the late 20s and early 30s. This is one of the reasons why teenagers act the way that they do, because their brains develop slower than their other capabilities. Another point that the speaker makes is that with more advancement in technologies, neuroscientists are able to study brain structures in all ages and are able to track the changes in brain structure and function. Lastly, through her various lab experiments and studies, Blakemore was able to come up with more information about the social brain and the network of brain regions involved in understanding other people and how it develops in adolescence. The second question states, which areas of the brain does the speaker point out, and what are the main functions? How do these areas of the brain change throughout adolescence and adulthood? Do they develop differently depending on gender? Why or why not? The speaker specifically focuses on the prefrontal cortex, which is an area of the brain that is responsible for decision-making and social interaction, as well as self-awareness. The prefrontal cortex also handles things like planning, analysis of consequences, and behavioral choices. Um, human development doesn't Human brain development doesn't just stop in childhood, but continues to develop throughout adolescence and into the 20s and 30s. Studies have shown an increase in gray matter in the prefrontal cortex during early adolescence and continue to decline during adolescence. And this decline in gray matter volume in the prefrontal cortex is thought to correspond to synaptic pruning, which is the elimination of unwanted synapses. This is important because the synapses that are being used are shrinking, while the synapses that aren't being used in that particular environment are pruned away. Overall, this process explains what is happening in the prefrontal cortex and in other brain regions during the period of human adolescence. This peak of gray matter also occurs later for boys and girls because boys go through puberty later than girls on average. Another research shows that a part of the brain called the medial prefrontal cortex, which is located in the midline of your head, also show a decline in activity during adolescence. And an explanation for this is that adults and adolescents use a different mental approach when it comes to making social decisions. And the third question states, the speaker discusses an experiment that demonstrates what about the ability to take another person's perspective. What do the result of the experiment suggest? The result of the experiment suggests that the ability to account into someone else's perspective is still developing in mid to late adolescence. This explains why sometimes teenagers have a problem taking other people's perspective or being in their shoes. And the fourth and last question asks, what are the takeaways and how can we apply them to how we deal with adolescent behavior? What are things that your textbook suggests that can support these findings? One takeaway from this TED Talk is that we should be more understanding of teen behaviors as their brain have yet to be mature. Adolescence is a period where the brain is still developing. Therefore, teenage behaviors such as poor self-control, making risky choices, or being self-conscious shouldn't be stigmatized. The textbook also supports these findings. According to the textbook, the brain plays a major part in the transition from adolescence to adulthood, as the prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed until a person reaches his or her mid-20s. Um, additionally, um, addition, sorry. Additionally, research carried out in her lab, research carried out in Blakesmore Laboratory and in specialized laboratories worldwide yielded fascinating result that explain risky adolescent behaviors. Her studies also provide better perspective on adolescence and how crucial the development of the human brain is at that stage of life.